today's on study skills and transition support. I'll be your facilitator today. Our panelist today is Mira Govindasamy, and she's the academic engagement specialist, and she'll be showcasing all the program offerings for study skills and transition support. As well, we have Xiaolin, my math support assistant, who will be the moderator for this webinar. So first of all, let me go over a few housekeeping items before we start. If you have questions about the slide we presented, you can ask questions through the Q&A section on Zoom. So if you take a look at the bottom of your screen, you see a Q&A section. You can enable this, like open the screen. Please monitor the question from your peers, as they might also be the ones you want to ask. Everyone has an upvote button. Adding an upvote to a question let us know how important that question is to everyone at the webinar. If possible, please save your question for the Q&A segment at the end of the webinar. And as I said, we'll be returning to Mentimeter, and you'll be able to ask your question there so everyone can see it, and we will answer them live. Xiaolin will be monitoring all questions. As such, I will ask that all students be respectful when posing your questions. Any inappropriate comments might result in us reporting them to the Non-Academic Integrity Office, and that is definitely not the way to start the school year. We will record this session, and as soon as the recording comes available after the webinar, we will post this on the Math Ready video resource bank, and you'll be watching video number 17. So Xiaolin will be actually attaching the playlist for everyone on the chat. And remember, you'll be watching video number 17. You can also enable live captioning at the bottom of the screen. So let me put mine over here. And you can enable it on your end as well. So first of all, let me give you a general overview of what to expect for today. So we'll start off with the land acknowledgement, followed by the introductory activity. We'll do a presentation on the study skills and transition support, which is what we call the centralized support, because we help students over all faculties on the university. But there are some really, really neat resources, study skill resources in TRSM as well. I always call them little gems. So we will be showcasing that for you as well. Afterwards, we'll go into a Q&A session and then round it off, letting you know how to get in touch with us. We have a little survey for you to let us know how we are doing today, or what you have learned today, as well as if there are any future topics that you wish we could have included in the webinar. We will really appreciate your feedback. And then we're going to say goodbye and let you go on for the rest of your day. So let me start off with the land acknowledgement. So Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited to this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. As settlers here in Canada, some by choice and others not, it is important that we recognize and remember that this land, its resources, and its history were stolen from its Indigenous peoples. It is important for us to acknowledge that our opportunity to come here today and to share space with one another is as a result of a long legacy of colonialism. Colonialism, which continues to impact the lives of many Indigenous peoples and communities across Canada today. Colonialism that we as settlers continue to benefit from. Land acknowledgements can be uncomfortable and unsettling, as they encourage us to reflect and be critical of our Canadian history. But land acknowledgements alone are merely an invitation to acknowledge ourselves in relation to this history, an invitation to acknowledge how we perpetuate this history, and an invitation to acknowledge how we can contribute to a changing history. And so with this land acknowledgement, I encourage and remind myself and everyone here today to reflect and honor the truths of the and past of the land on which we sit, lean into the discomfort that arises when we do, and work actively with this discomfort to seek new learnings and unlearnings about the land we collectively call home. So we're going to go back to the Mentimeter if you haven't had a chance to join. Because I can see there's some people, new people who joined. Please use either your phone or a separate tab on your computer and join menti.com and type in the code 22690496 and let us know which faculty you belong to. Oh, that's great. I was hoping we have a pretty good mix today. Okay, I know we have 10 people in the attendees and we have 7 who joined. We'll be using Mentimeter for the Q&A segment as well. So it's a good time to join because then you can actually write the questions that you might have. Everyone can see it and then we will answer it live. This is a really, really good mix. Really thank you for joining us today. I'm going to go to the second slide, and that is I'm interested to know exactly which program you are in. Okay, from architectural sciences, we have students from computer science, sociology, professional music, business management, biomedical science, economics and finance. That's great. Nutrition and food, excellent. Urban planning, very good. Actually, it doesn't really matter which faculty or which program you're in. One thing for sure, you know, is that, university is, it's a fun place, but it's also quite fast paced. And I think in order to keep up with all the work, study skills and time management definitely is the key. And if you don't believe me, at the Q&A session, feel free to pose questions for Shaolin because she is a engineering student herself. And she can also share with you her insight. Okay, coming back to here. Let me first of all give you some fun facts. I think the reason why I put it here is because I think every single year when we're doing different information webinars, students always ask us about, what is it like being a student at TMU. So I put this together to just give you a sense. So first of all, a first year student takes about 5 to 6 courses per term. Definitely, I think engineering and sciences probably have the heaviest load. I think most of them actually have 6 courses because they also have a lot of labs. A year of high school material is covered in 1 semester, so you can imagine things go turbo fast. The general rule of thumb is 1 hour of lecture will require 3 hours of self-study time outside of class. So that is typically the rule of thumb, especially for, I have a lot of student staff who have worked for me in the past, and a lot of them are like really amazing students. I mean, how they met being able to juggle so many things in their day always amazes me. And I always ask them, so what is your key to success? And they always says, well, if you want that A, you have to put in the time. And so that equation is 1 hour lecture 3 hours outside study time. Now, I actually head up math support, so and I love numbers, so I thought I'll give you, let's do some math together. So let's say if you have 6 classes, and each class would be 3 hours, 3 hours per course, because typically it's, each class is 3 hours per week. So then that means you have 18 hours lecture time. Now, if you take 18 hours lecture time times 3 hours self-study time, that means you need 54 self-study time. Now, if you add those two numbers together, that means you basically will be spending 72 hours spent studying, but that is excluding any time spent on major projects, midterm, and exam prep. So as you can see, that study and time management skills are definitely crucial to academic success. Now I'm going to pass the floor to Mira, and Mira is continue from here. Go ahead, Mira.
Great. Hello, folks. Nice to get to speak to you. So as Deidre mentioned, my role is the academic engagement specialist at the university. So I teach all our core academic skills workshops, which I'll get into. I also teach a program called Academic Edge that's specifically designed for first-year students, and it happens in the fall and then again in the winter. And yeah, I'll chat a little bit more about that. But first, I want to kind of introduce you to some of the structure of what's covered in study skills and transition support. I know it sounds kind of like a big title, and students don't always know what that involves. I think kind of one of the reasons for that is, at university, we talk a lot about the specific skills and course content that you're learning. So we talk about things like math, we talk about things like writing, or maybe the specific subjects that you might be working on in your programs, history, English, whatever it is. But study skills is kind of that, it's that ambient skill, right, that we don't always talk about, and it's kind of hard to put your finger on. But really, Deidre and I both see oftentimes, and Shaolin, I'm sure you experience this yourself, the students who are really successful are really good at this thing that we call study skills. So I'm going to chat with you a little bit about how we break that down in our unit. So under study skills and transition support, first we have what we call study skills, which is most of the programming that I oversee. So Academic Edge, which is a program for first-year students, peer academic coaching. So if you want to talk to a peer about things like time management or how you're taking lecture notes, learning skills appointments, which are very similar to peer academic coaching, and then all of these things in workshops. So if you don't have a specific question, but you just want to have an introduction to all of these skills, we offer them in workshop format that any student can register for. Another thing is a lot of students assume that in order to access learning support services or study skills, people will assume that maybe it's just for students who are struggling, or maybe even students with disabilities. For sure, we serve those students and we support those students, but any student can come see us. And oftentimes the students that reach out are actually really exceptional, strong students. And the reason that they're coming to us is because they want to do even better and optimize your skills. So there's no shame in reaching out. We see all types of students. Academic success. So this is maybe what we think of a little bit more traditionally when we think of learning skills in the university. So this is programming that's overseen by my colleague, Cleopatra. And it's basically support for the content of all of your courses. So we offer supported learning groups, which I will get into, and then TMU Tutor Match, which is basically our system for helping you find a tutor in your specific subjects if you feel that that's something that you need. And then finally, student retention support, which probably won't be super relevant to any of you at this stage, but this is support that we offer to students who are struggling in different ways academically. So Get Clear is a program for students who are on academic probation. So it means that your GPA has gone below a certain level. And then Fresh Start is for students who have basically had their GPA below a certain level for a prolonged period of time. And so they receive a notification that they've been required to withdraw from their program. And Fresh Start is basically a program that allows you to return to university and your program a little bit faster. And those are both taught by our colleague Joelle, who is wonderful. Okay, so I'll get a little bit more into each of these programs now. So Academic Edge, as I mentioned, which might be really interesting to many of you, is a program for first-year students. So we meet weekly for 6 weeks at the beginning of the fall semester, and then we run it again in the winter semester. The way the program looks is the goal is it's an opportunity for you to learn all of these core academic skills, but also have time for self-reflection to think about what are the things that you're bringing to university that you're already really skilled at? Maybe you're a really good note taker or you're good at time management, but maybe you're just kind of feeling nervous that you're not doing it right. I know lots of students wonder whether the skills they learned in high school are going to carry over to university. And it's hard to know whether you're studying the way that everyone else is studying and whether that, whether that's the right way. So the way the program is designed is it kind of mimics the flow of the semester. So before reading week, for example, we have a session where we talk about time management and how to spend your reading week. Before exams, we talk about test and exam prep. Early in the semester, we talk about things like note-taking and how to get the most out of your lecture experience. It's also just a really social experience. If you're someone who is looking to make friends and you benefit a lot from chatting with others about your experience, Academic Edge is a really great program for that. Study skills and transition support workshops. So these are kind of, if you don't want to participate in a whole 6-week program, the workshops are a way that you can attend just shorter sessions about a specific topic. So you can sign up for any of these, and they're all offered online and also in person at different points in each semester. And they're offered many times a semester. So if you see any of these that you're interested in, you'll definitely find a session that works for you. So they cover things like introduction to time and task management. So we talk about time in kind of I know Deidre talks about time in a numbers way, and then we talk about time in, more of a wellness and energy management kind of way in that session. And then also think about how does that work for you so that you're not feeling like you're overwhelmed with your work. We will talk about learning from lectures. So that involves taking lecture notes, how to prepare for your lectures, how to make sure that you're present during your lectures to get the most out of them. Achieving focus and concentration. So, if you give yourself 3 hours to study, how much are you getting out of that 3 hours? Is it real focus time, or are you distracted while you're studying? Because, those hours that you spend can be worth more or less depending on how much you're paying attention. Goal setting and finding motivation. This is a great one to attend at the beginning of the semester or even later in the semester when you're finding that it's getting harder to pay attention and stay motivated towards your goals. And then introduction to effective oral presentations if you want to work on some of your presentation skills. We also offer peer-led learning skills workshops. So these are facilitated by the peer academic coaches who are current undergrad students, typically upper years across different disciplines. And they teach workshops as a group, and they cover things like how to prepare for reading week and midterms. So oftentimes for first-year students, this is the first time that you might be writing a big exam in university or going into reading week, and it can be confusing to understand how you're supposed to spend that time. We'll talk about advice to your first-year self, and then balancing wellness and final exams. So again, how do you make sure that you're still feeling okay as that most stressful time in the semester approaches? Again, the peer academic coaches, the main thing they do is actually meet one-on-one with students. So if you're someone who gets a lot out of speaking to somebody about your goals, lots of students will come back every week as sort of an accountability tool. So you can tell the peer academic coach that you're going to work on something that week, go away and work on it and talk to them in reflection about how that actually went for you. Work on time management, effective note-taking, and test and exam preparation, reading strategies, really any challenges you're encountering as a student related to academics. The peer academic coaches are excellent to chat with. And developing personalized study plans. So maybe you just want to understand how to get the most out of the time in your week. They can literally sit with you and block off time for the different work you need to get done. Don't think of this as something you have to do on top of your study time. Think of this as part of the way that you can be most efficient with your study time by planning the way you're going to spend your week. And then finally, learning skills appointments. This is essentially just peer academic coaching, but it's what we offer in the spring and summer semesters because the peer academic coaches are only available in the fall and winter. But we have something for you all year round, so you'll always be supported.
Mary, if you don't mind me jumping in.
Yeah.
Although, I'm an adult and working, but study skills and time management is, it's a topic that I always am fascinated with. And honestly, to this day, I'm still looking at, what are some of the most efficient way for time management, but more applying to my work. So I think what you study here will carry you for a long, long time. And then you will also see that as time goes on, with technology being, always new technology coming up, you can just, get better and better and better at study skills and time management. It's really also, it's a matter of practice and trying. Don't try to conceptualize it because conceptualizing it sometimes doesn't work. The best thing to do is try different ways and see which one is the best fit for you. It's actually a lot of fun.
I totally agree. And it's like building habits as well. So it's, lots of these things students will say, it didn't work. I tried it and it didn't work. But I think the truth is some of these things, you have to try them maybe even for a whole semester or a whole year. And then you might start to feel like, the focus is working a little bit better, or, you've built up your ability to take notes for the entire lecture, different things like that. It's all about habit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a little bit more about supported learning groups and TMU Tutor Match. So like I said, these are some of the programs that we have that can support you more specifically with your coursework. Study skills is all about that stuff that surrounds your coursework, that maybe your professors won't necessarily always talk about. But they're those hidden skills that really successful students will have. These are things that deal specifically with your course content. So supported learning groups are discussion-based course-specific groups that are designed to support students taking some of the most challenging first-year courses that we've identified. And they support courses in the Faculty of Science, in arts, and in BTM. So if you're in any of those, more specifically challenging courses in those faculties, there is likely a supported learning group for you. The great thing about how these work is they are led by students who have successfully made it through the challenging courses already. And it's basically a chance to work through maybe some of your assignments, review some of the material with your peers, as well as with somebody who has been successful in that course already. It's drop-in based, so you don't need to register ahead of time. Essentially, a schedule is released and there is different availability to let you know where the group is meeting. They meet online and in person, so you can just find what works for your schedule. And typically it works well when students try and attend regularly. So that way, maybe if you're finding the material really challenging, and in lots of these courses, even if you're exceptional at maybe an engineering program, or math or chemistry, students struggle in those courses, even really smart students. That's kind of par for the course. It doesn't mean that you should be discouraged, but we find that it works best when students show up to supported learning groups every week. And the schedule is released in the third week of classes. So we try and make it so that it doesn't overlap too much with students' other courses that they're taking.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mary, I'm going to jump in. If you are an engineering student in TRSM, you're probably wondering how come we're not a part of this list. And the reason is because in your localized support, first year engineering office actually organize a peer study group. So definitely check that out on your end, as well as TRSM. And I will show you later on where it is. They also have their what they call PAL study group, PAL, Peer Assisted Learning Study Group. That is the same as our SLG, but they are run in the localized within their own faculty. Okay, so you do have help, just in a different location.
Exactly. Yeah. And just anything that you can do to kind of like stick with something week to week will improve your success at it. Sometimes I know students, when you're in a challenging course, the temptation is to ignore it and push it away, focus on the courses that are a little easier for you. But yeah, I really encourage you to kind of stick with it week to week. And you'll find that it's an opportunity to ask questions and make sure you're not, falling behind with things. The other program is TMU Tutor Match. So I'll point out that this is one of the only programs that we offer that comes at a cost. So basically, the TMU Tutor Match system allows you to search in our database for students who have been trained and have signed up to be tutors in courses that they've received good grades in the past. And so you can find those current TMU students and then negotiate the rate with them. And so it's a good way to find somebody if you need some course specific support, and especially in upper years as well. And then if you are someone who's interested in work at the university, working as a tutor is also an awesome job that you can have as a student. So if you're finding that some of your courses are going really well and you're interested in some teaching experience, this could be a great opportunity for you as well. And this is, again, it's more of an individualized support. So if you're someone who just feels that you need to sit with someone and work through that on a one-on-one basis, this could be right for you. Okay, so as I mentioned, student retention is kind of the last piece in study skills and transition support. None of this will be super relevant to any of you at this stage, but it's stuff to keep in mind and just to understand that we do have support available for you if you end up in one of these situations. So Get Clears for students who are on academic probation. So again, they've had their GPA fall below a certain level, and that will vary depending on your faculty. And then Fresh Start for students who've been required to withdraw. Both of these are really awesome programs. They're a chance for students to reflect. We know that a lot of the time when either of these situations happens, it's not a reflection of students' capacity or their ability. It usually has to do with something else going on in their lives or not feeling ready to be in university. And so these programs are really designed to help you self-reflect and think about what it is that you want to get out of university, and make sure that when you do return, you're returning with the skills to be really successful, because ultimately that's what we want for all of you.
Okay, so we're going to go into the live segment. I'm going to stop my screen and Mira will take over.
Yes. Okay, so up here on my screen, I've got our learning support website shared. So I just wanted to show all of you how you can book an appointment with us. And I'll also just show you a couple of other tabs on here. So you'll notice under learning support, you can see study skills and transition support. So you've got details about peer academic coaching listed, supported learning groups. Here's where the schedule will come up. As I mentioned, you don't need to register. Instead, you can just drop into these sessions. There is an option to register for the groups if you want reminders about it. But you can also look at the schedule to see when it's happening. And you can see other listed supports there as well. let's see, again, our academic edge page. So this will be updated shortly with our fall dates. Oh, and it's taking me out of learning support. There we go. TMU tutor match located over here. And you can also see instructions to become a tutor if that's something that you're interested in as well. And then here now I'll take us back to our booking tool. So all of these links that say book an appointment will take us to the same spot. So you'll log in with your TMU credentials. And then you'll be at our homepage. So I think you've already heard for sure from writing and language support and math support, as Deidre mentioned. So today we're talking about study skills and transition support. So you click over there. Here you can see this is where all the supported learning groups. So you'll see the courses that are supported and you can register. Things haven't been loaded yet, but shortly you'll be able to join there. Under workshops, this is where you can register for all the workshops that I teach throughout the semester. Academic Edge, again, the dates are not available just yet, but they will be shortly. And learning skills appointments. So soon this will be populated with peer academic coaching appointments once we turn over into the fall semester, but there's tons and tons of availability. And I also wanted to mention that we're located on the 4th floor of the SLC with the rest of learning support. And the peer academic coaches, they have a room that we call the study lounge on the 4th floor. It's in SLC 451. If you just come to the 4th floor of the Student Learning Center, you'll definitely find it. And it's a great place if you just want to study and maybe ask a few questions. I know sometimes it can be hard to find study space on campus, but this is a really nice environment for students. We often have like some snacks available if you're looking for a granola bar and a quiet place to study, and maybe someone to chat with in an upper year if you're feeling a little bit stressed. It's a very supportive and nice environment. Okay, and so I think I'll exit out of here actually. Is there anything else? I'll also show the resources page. So we have a couple of things, print resources if you like to have something physical on hand, or maybe it's the middle of the night. I know sometimes that is part of being a student and, you're looking for some support with something, but we don't have any people available for you to talk to. I would still check out the resources section. You might find something still available to you on there. And again, all the writing resources are on the same page.
Okay, so let me share my screen and I'm going to show you a couple more things in more details. So first of all, if you go under quick links, you will also see there's a tab that says SLG schedule. If you click into it, oops, actually don't have to click into it because I already have it open. Then it will come to the all the session details. So there are regular sessions and there are super sessions. The super sessions are usually hosted for midterm and exam. It is usually 3 hours long and there will be 2 SLG leaders. One thing I want to say about the SLG leader is that, as Mira mentioned before, they are students who have been very successful at the course. We have recruited them to come back. They actually sit in the lectures because to get a sense of what are some of the students' challenges, and so that they can work through those challenges with students in their group sessions. Another thing about the SLG leader is that they are trained nonstop throughout the term that they are working for us under Cleopatra, and Cleopatra is absolutely amazing as well. So do check these out because you never know if maybe one day, after your first year, you want to come back as for a second year as an SLG leader. So I think it's really nice to actually have an experience with that. And also Cleopatra did mention that, if you want to join the SLG session, make sure you register as well. Now, all the services that we talked about are already included in your student fee. So, all the workshops, all the peer academic coach sessions, all these are completely free of charge for you. All you need to do is to access them. However, if you need to find a tutor for additional help on top of what we all the free services we're given, then you'll be going into the tutor match. So again, the tutor match, let me go back where it's here. You can access tutor match on the left-hand side panel, but also under quick links, you'll also be able to go into the TMU tutor match site as well. Now I have opened it here. So there are two things. Number one, if you are actually looking for a tutor to support you in a course, because you have already signed into your TMU account, if you, on the upper tab, if you say find a tutor, and the first time you sign in, they probably ask you to update, some personal information about yourself. Now, because I'm not a student, so you don't see any current courses or future courses. However, this is a very smart website. When you log in, they already know what are your current courses for fall and what are your future courses, perhaps for the winter term. Then what you can do is when you click on the course you need support, then on the right-hand side, you have a list of tutors. Now, these tutors also have to go through training to be certified a tutor to be on this site. Now, however, as a disclaimer, we do not endorse them in the sense that they are not technically a staff with the university. They are just students. So from here, you also see all the list of courses they can tutor, their tutor philosophy, definitely read them. And then their availability and the rate on the side. Now, my suggestion to you is don't commit to a tutor for a long period of time. Try them out once or twice, just to make sure that they are really, really good match for you. Okay, if it is not, then go to the list and try another one. Now, however, for those of you who would like to work independently as a paid tutor, to have some extra money to supplement, your study, then you can also become a qualified tutor in 3 easy steps. But in order to be a qualified tutor, you need to set up a profile first. So go to the profile page. Okay, you will have to actually sign up to set up your own profile. I have mine already. And so let me see. So the training, as I said, they have to go through a training. The training course will cover planning tutoring sessions, academic honesty and ethical behavior in tutoring, effective communication, and other great tutoring tools and resources that you might like. So the step 1 is visit the website, you set up your profile, and then step 2 is, and then you have to register to do the level 1 novice TMU tutor match portion of the training course. So as a matter of fact, the details, you will see it on this page. It will guide you through step by step. Right here. So, and then step 2 will be you be confirming that you have completed level 1, and then you actually receive what they call a first digital badge. And then step 3 is you will then be once you finish the level 2, you still have to do a expert in-person workshop. And once you get a certification on that, then you'll be able to list yourself on the Tutor Match website. Okay, let me go back here and digress a little bit to now take a look at some of the key resources in TRSM. So as I always says, knowledge is power, and TRSM has some of the really amazing resources for students. So, but these are a lot of these resources can be accessed by students in other faculty as well. So I'm going to basically take you through the learning resource page. They have the Pell Tutoring Pell, which is called the Peer Assisted Learning Study Group, which is the same as our supported learning groups, but they just call it differently. They have Compass workshops. They also have writing tip sheets and videos, which I'm going to go over. So I'm going to go to the live demo. So I'm going to go to the Program Advising and Student Success page in TRSM. So Shaolin will be posting that website for you. So the first thing to do is if you click on the Learning Resource tab, and if you scroll down, you are going to see course-specific tip sheets, communication, goal setting and motivation, grade calculator, and so forth. Now, I'm going to go through 3 of the most commonly used or most favorite sites for the students, but also give you a sense of what to look for, and then you can explore this site on your own a little bit later. Now, the first one, which is the most popular, is the tip sheets. So if you go to the bottom, they're basically things for accounting, economics, ITM, finance, law, marketing, statistics. I'm going to go into statistics. And the reason is because no matter which statistics course you're going to be in, there are a lot of overlapping concepts that, for all the faculty. So, so if you go into here, they have, for example, introduction to logarithms. Logarithm is a part of a lot of many courses, simple and compound interest. So if you click into it, then you actually see a little tip sheet showing you step-by-step how to do certain things. Now, if you're in statistics, especially first-year statistics course, hypothesis testing, linear regression, simple linear and multiple regression, these are common topics. No matter which faculty you're in, if you're in a statistics course, you have to know this. So this will be a good place to check out some resources here. I'm going to go back to the learning resource page, and I'm going to go back again into the tip sheets. On this site, you'll also see 2 calculator help. So the Casio FX9750G2 is a graphing calculator for statistical analysis, and the TIBA2 Plus is a calculator for financial analysis. So although you might be in other faculties, but if you're in a statistics course, you can also see if this calculator is allowed for you. But these 2 calculator is definitely used in TRSM. So if you go into each one of these, this is actually made by my department in collaboration with all the profs in TRSM. There are, so you can see here, there are 13 topics, and each topic there is an actual calculator emulator. You actually see the calculator on the video, and it will actually show you step by step what functions you need to punch in. For example, if you were to do a probability for standardized normal distribution. Okay. I have to tell you that your professor will not be showing you how to use your calculator because they don't have the time in their lecture. So that's the reason why we actually do this, but not a lot of students know about this. So this is definitely one of the hidden gems. Going back. Okay. Okay. The second amazing resource is the the GPA calculator. So which is this one, the grade calculator. What you'll see in here is that you will find the grade GPA calculator in an Excel format that you can make a copy for yourself and use it. There's also an assignment calculator, which is very good. If you click into it, what it does is you can say, date you will begin the assignment, the date that is due. You can choose what type of, is it a group assignment, a paper, a reflection paper? And then when you say calculate assignment schedule, it actually helps you break down the steps and the date so that you won't feel, so that you will do it, incrementally rather than, basically packing it in the last, week when it's due. So it basically, space it all out for you. So this is a really good resource too. Okay, oops, I think I lost my page. Just give me 1 second. Get back my resource page. Oops, I got the wrong thing. Just give me 1 second. I think I lost my page here. Now, the last thing I want to show you on that particular page is the goal setting and motivation page. So here you will find tip sheets that are just centering about goal setting and motivation. But if you scroll down, TRSM have also basically created a list of free apps. So I want to stress it's free. These are free apps that can help students with goal setting and motivation purposes as well. A number of other tabs also have free apps similar to this, but specific to the areas they are talking about. So definitely check this out. It's actually really, really neat. Now you go back to the top part, you're going to see one tab that says academic support. So before you take a look at the actual program, if you scroll down actually to the bottom of the sheet, hold on, let me see. Right, so the one place is the course tutoring. They have something about writing and language support. They have something about math tutoring, and they have academic skills workshop. Although this part only TRSM students can access, but if you go under course tutoring, just want to give students a sense of where everything is. This part talks about the course-specific tutoring, the courses they offer. Now, what you're seeing right now is still their spring-summer course offering, but there are a lot more in the fall term. So definitely come and check it out. But there are course tutoring, there's peer-assisted learning, which is the same as I said, SLG. There's also academic peer helper as well, specific to, for example, Finance 300, Finance 401, and Law. The best thing to do is scroll down to the very bottom. There is a sort of a definition and explanation of what is the difference between tutoring, PAL, and peer-led course review. All right, now, so this basically ends some of the gems in TRSM that you should check it out. But before we go into the Q&A session, Shaolin is going to link the survey. As I said, really appreciate your feedback, letting us know what are some things that you have listed, you hear today that that are of interest to you. If there are anything that you think you would like us to add to this webinar for future years, definitely, let us know as well. This is totally anonymous. So what happened is once you fill this out and when you click submit, you're going to come to a thank you page, and the thank you page has another Google form. And that Google form is for you to put in your name to be put in the event draw for our Summer Jumpstart program. So the event draw is we have, I think, $150, $20 one-card top-up, and there are 10, I think, $100 one-card top-up. So if you're wondering what is one card, so one card is actually your student ID card, and you'll be getting that during orientation week. That card is you can use that for loaning books and also loaning a laptop from the library. And any audio equipment. You can also put money into your one card so that you can use at the TMU eateries, at the bookstore, and also definitely for printing on campus. So we decided the best thing to do is give money to you, and you can decide how you want to use it. I'm going to come back to the Mentimeter, and I am going to open the next slide. I'm interested to know more about, so this is your chance to ask questions. Feel free to, you can post as many questions as you like. But likewise, if you can also post questions in the Q&A on Zoom. I can certainly read those out as well and answer them live. So you have a choice. Okay, so the first question on the Q&A is, will we get access to the recording of this webinar? Yes. So Shaolin, could you please attach the playlist, for students? You'll be looking at video number 17. That's the one that is for us for our webinar today. Charlene, if you can also attach that to the playlist to the webinar chat for everyone, that would be great. Feel free to write anything that you want to know more about on Mentimeter or on the Zoom Q&A. Maybe while you're still typing, I would like to let you know that actually this year I have a group of amazing student staff working for me, and the interesting part is all of them happen to have this interest in reading books or listening to audiobooks on things that actually helps them with habits, with time management and study skills as well. And so one book, as a matter of fact, one of my students recommended to me was Atomic Habits by James Clear. That one, it's a must read. I've read a lot of books on time management or, like changing behaviors and stuff like that. But this book is such an easy read. And everything they recommend is so doable. And there's a lot of psychology behind it. So it's called Atomic Habits. I will put it in the chat box if you're interested to check it out. Loving it. So I highly recommend that. Oh, is there a playlist for videos outside of Math Ready? You know what? Let me, I will get in touch with my colleagues and in studies for the Study Ready in Summer Jumpstart, and I'll take a look at where we're going to post that for all of you as well. Although I have to say, that is the best way for you to check out my Math Ready, my Math Ready site as well. Go and check it out. There are lots of stuff in there as well. All right, it looks like no one have any questions. I guess either we have done a very good job and covering everything you need to know, or it might be a little overwhelming for everyone. But actually, you know, the reason of having these academic spotlight is what I call, we're sowing a seed in you, so that later on when you do need to use one of our services, you know where to find us. Okay, and also throughout the school year, we have, you know, lots of events that students can come and you know, learn more about our services. So definitely, you know, keep an eye out on all the promotions around campus. Let me, oh, and actually before we end the session, just want to show you one more thing as well, and that is how to get in touch with us. So give me a second. Yeah, so if you have any general question, you can always email sls@torontomu.ca, and for any SLG and TMU tutor match related question, you can contact Cleopatra, and that's her email. For any academic peer coaching, academic edge program and workshops, you can connect with Mira, and then all the Get Clear and Fresh Start, then you'll be connecting with Joelle. So here are some of their information. So thank you very much for joining us today. And we have the survey link for you at the chat box. Don't forget to fill those out, and have a lovely day.
Thanks, everyone.